Hi, this is Dave Perry and you're watching Retro Gaming Revival live.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Retro Gaming Revival Live. As you can see there, Stevie has just seen the intro for the first time, and there we are, genuine reactions. Yes, welcome, Retro Gaming Revival Live on a Tuesday, not a Wednesday, for the second week in a row. We'll just get straight into it. We've got no silly jokes written for the intros of people. We're going to save that all for Ryan's Christmas cracker style jokes as we crack on with the evening. So, joining us this evening, we have the usual panel of Herberts. We have got Mr. All Elite Ryan.
Evening, everyone.
Mr. Triangle Face Tim.
Hello.
Mr. Blunners.
All right.
The man who is still working the cameras for us this evening, so we'll see how this goes, Mr. Dorbs.
Greetings.
And joining us this evening, we are very honoured to have Stevie Ward with us. So welcome to our little slice of the internet's paradise.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you. Yes, no, we're always very pleased when people actually agree to come on and chat to us because it's a very small place that we exist in. So no, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate you being on here.
I had nothing else on.
Excellent. Well, that works brilliantly for us. So for people watching that maybe don't know who you are, do you want to give a little introduction as to maybe who you are and where you're sort of working at the moment? Because you are a bit of a veteran of the games industry.
I am. Hi, I'm Stevie Ward. Been in the industry for about 15 years now, and I work for a publishing company called Future. We publish magazines like Edge and PC Gamer and websites like Tom's Hardware and Anantech and all that good stuff. So basically, if it's not a game, it's probably us.
Amazing. Well, like I say, thank you very much for joining us. So what we will do is we'll just get straight into it with a couple of questions that we always ask people when they come on and join us. So there we go, Dorbs, we've got it on the right one now. So what are your early gaming memories? What is it that sort of brought you into video gaming? And just tell us how you sort of got into gaming, really.
So I remember we had a BBC computer. You can tell what kind of house we had. We had more than one car.
Wow.
We had a BBC computer and we had an Acorn as well. And I remember loving things like James Pond. I don't know if any of you remember James Pond.
Robocod, James Pond.
Yeah.
The first one though, not James Pond Robocod, but Underwater Agent. We actually swim underwater the bubbles. That was really good.
Yeah, with the timer on the breath and stuff like that. Professor Moriarty, which was probably my first proper platformer. And then I remember Repton 3 had a game engine in it where you could design your own levels. So I remember I couldn't have been more than like 7 or 8. I mean, I'd have to check on when it came out, but you'd be able to like create your own pixels to create different themed levels, because Repton would have like a cowboy level, or it would have a space level, or it would have whatever it was, and you could animate it. And I remember being a kid like working out how to do this and changing it so Repton would wear a bow or have a dress, or that there would be all these different kind of levels to it. So like I think game designing was actually one of the first things I did as a kid, playing games.
Cool.
And then I think sort of getting older, things like Monkey Island. I'm very old. You can tell how old I am by
30.
Monkey Island.
Oh, much higher. But thank you. Yeah, Monkey Island. And then I remember like sneaking into my uncle's computer room with my cousin because he had Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Which was incredibly like naughty of us because obviously we were kids at the time. And
Especially the questions at the beginning, ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Ridiculous.
So like anything like that. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? We played that over there as well. Like it came with its own book with all the baddies in it. It was just a great time to be a kid.
Yeah. The amount of people that are now sort of that we speak to that are sort of moving away because certainly a lot of our early gaming memories are things like the NES, Amigas and that kind of thing. But more people are coming in with things like the BBC Micros and things. It's the sort of breadth of early memories is now sort of moving into sort of the computer territory more now.
Wasn't the BBC Micro a learning computer rather than a game computer?
Yeah, I think you could do more. I think it was more meant to be learning to do things with it. Because I had a BBC Micro when I was a kid, but I was too young to like really use it properly. I don't think.
I just think we had one at school.
I just played games on it. I don't think I did. I think you could do loads of stuff with it. I only ever used it for games.
Yeah, I can't imagine
my
infant school buying a BBC Micro for us to play games on. I'm sure it was all like an educational thing.
All the schools had what the little programmable thing
that's
around.
Yeah.
But I think in our school we had the school all had Acorn computers. So my parents got an Acorn so that we would have the same computer at home that we had at the schools.
Yeah.
We could take discs back and forth.
Yeah, they were expensive, weren't they? There's like different colour back.
I always remember at school.
How lucky I was, I think. I had no idea.
My junior school used to basically make people shop at Tesco's to get the vouchers so they could get a new
And you pay like hundreds of vouchers and you bring them in and be like, I've gotten us a math program or whatever it was.
That was always the best bit about junior school, though, wasn't it? As soon as it would be like the computer time, and it'd be in the corner of your classroom, and you would be playing some god awful educational game, but you were playing a game of any sort, which just immediately meant you weren't learning, which was where you were sort of learning through the back door, really, weren't you? But
and that sense of mastery, teaching the computer how to draw a triangle.
Yeah.
Programming the different bits, you'd be like, I am a god.
Yeah.
One thing let's just come back to. One thing we used to do in my school, me and a few friends, you get the discs that would come with the magazines, and they'd have like a game and maybe a little bit of software. And then there would be like a screensaver type thing you could put on there. I say screensaver, it's like a thing that you opened it and it just launched like a really basic animation thing. And we found out you could open up the actual source code of it, and we didn't really know what we were doing. We found out there's an exit command, so if you press escape, it closes it. We went in there and we deleted the exit command, so once you opened it, you couldn't close it. It was like stop the computer, you'd have to turn it off and on again. You know, we just thought we were the really cool people for like making this bug.
I don't know if you know
thing. It was just
Triangle Face is a hacker. I don't know if you know that.
It went, but it wasn't actually anything that impressive, really. But at the time, we probably thought we were doing something really cool by making these screensavers be unclosable.
The craziest thing is, we're all talking about like, we had like the computer time and all that. Obviously, I work in schools now, and I walk past the classroom, and they all had their own notepads, like the big old touchscreen. Yeah, and I was like,
really?
what is going on? Yeah, and that's just like their time to learn what they're doing on pads and stuff. But yeah, I thought, oh my god, and there's us, big old screens. We used to put in, what was it, like a little duck that would fly around on our Acorns and that, and you'd have like the librarian woman checking people's accounts. And then you'd get in trouble if you had stuff hidden in there and that. Do you remember? Now they know. Now they've all got their own pads at school. It's mad.
My first tangent of the evening, just purely because someone called Tim a hacker, and everybody thinking that hacking was cool. Was anybody else ever really disappointed when you actually saw people doing hacking like properly in the news and stuff after watching the film Hackers and seeing how cool that looked with all the animations and all the stuff going down, everyone on like rollerblades with like sunglasses and stuff.
And
then you realise
where they're both hacking on the one keyboard and they're like, oh my god, they're gonna get us, and then they unplug it and it's like da-na-na.
Yeah, exactly that. And I was just utterly disappointed when I realised that wasn't what hacking was like in the real world. You're like, oh man, this is.
I
was going to say the opposite. Sorry, go on, Ron.
No, I was just going to say the first time I came across hacking was when Toadie and Billy Kennedy on Neighbours hacked the school computer. Everyone remember that?
Toadfish and Stonefish. Oh, now you're showing your age.
Toadfish.
I thought you were going to say Ferris Bueller then for a second.
So I always like the new series when they did that Mr. Robot, and it showed him actually doing coding and stuff like that on the screen, because that's what actual hacking will look like. And he's running these programs. And I always thought to myself, when you watch those old things from like the 80s and 90s, someone will hack into a system and there'll be like a virus they put in, and it'll be like a 3D animated skull. It's like, it's on the back end system. Why have you drawn a skull? Who's taking the time to actually animate the skull design
it's like
on this program?
Because it makes it's your tag. It's like graffiti artists in a computer.
I suppose.
Like, that would be like
Banksy.
Banksy, yeah.
Banksy of the hacker world.
Yeah.
There we go. Excellent stuff. So as you were sort of growing up, I know that you're very much into PC gaming, as you said sort of earlier. Are there any sort of systems or consoles that are your favorite to play games on as you were growing up, or are you sort of, do you exclusively not collect anything at all, or and do you have favorite
consoles? I don't collect consoles. I don't even. I've got obviously the PlayStation and stuff like that, and I've got too much VR now. But like as a kid, it was basically just the PC, and then the PC upgrades, and then a new PC if we got a new PC. It's very sort of non-cluttered, whatever. We did have a lot of Guitar Hero like guitars, and if that counts, the rhythm action stuff, and DJ Hero stuff, and bits and pieces, and that sort of things. But really, like I think like the thing that I found magical was instruction booklets. So more so than collecting sort of the plastic or the hardware, it was just having these things that felt like they came from the world that game was in. Like, especially if you got one which was role played, like whatever the game was. Like I remember we had like Alice in Wonderland, which was on like 8 different discs. It was like an old school RPG, and like it came with like the map inside it and stuff like that. And I just thought that was brilliant. I just wish, I know like obviously the internet's kind of killed instruction booklets, unless you're playing something like Star Citizen, where like it's like that big and you can print it out and people do and laminate it and stuff like that. But that was more my thing. I just really loved all the different booklets and going through them. And
amazing. And do you have a favorite game, or a favorite? We can widen that net. If you have a favorite game series as well, because I know sometimes it's quite difficult to pick a favorite if you have a particular series that you really enjoy, but
apart from Leisure Suit Larry, of course.
Apart from obviously, I think like it sounds really unhardcore, but I think that The Sims has proven to withstand the test of time. Like continue to iterate, stay up to date. They've worked out how to do live updates now. They're releasing free updates, and it just kind of encapsulates. It's still as fun as it was when I played The Sims 1. I play The Sims 4, and the community, like the modding community, I mod it as well. Like the modding community is just unbelievable. And when you get to grips with how to code things and remove things from the game and change all the modifications within it as well, I just find it so exciting that you can, create worlds rather than just destroy, and all the funny, stupid stuff that comes with it, like Grim Reapering and killing people in pools, and all the weird quirky stuff that comes with it. I love it.
The Sims is great, because I remember having The Sims 1 and then getting the expansion packs like Hot Date. Was it Hot Date?
Yeah.
And then, even being a failure with ladies on that as well, as what it was in real life at the time. But I remember chatting up Kat Slater in a bar on it, and she turned me down, because obviously I used to make people like from EastEnders and
Barry. Make Barry from EastEnders?
No, I didn't make Barry. Sven-Goran Eriksson was on it, Chris Eubank. we had like an all-star cast of very random people.
One of the editors on PC Gamer had downloaded a bunch of mods from like Alien, so he put like a Xenomorph and Ripley in a house, and they didn't get on at all, and it was just funny to watch that. They obviously just didn't get on.
Oh my god. Do you know, that needs to be like an internet TV show, Ripley and a Xenomorph, where it's just sort of like Wallace and Gromit, but Ripley and an alien.
They have to make toast and you make breakfast and go to work, and the Xenomorph's not holding down their job as a pool cleaner, and all of that stuff.
I would watch that.
Make some notes, Ollie. Make some notes.
The Sims is great, because I remember my friend made the Royal Family, not the comedy Royal Family, and Dave from it used to just turn up at his house all the time, and it used to just be so random, that game. But yeah, it's great fun.
Amazing. No one said The Sims yet, so that's a really good suggestion, and I think it's a game that at least everyone has played once. Some games, some people say a game and it's it's very specific to a certain person. But The Sims has got such wide appeal that I do think it kind of, well, it doesn't get forgotten about at all. It's still here, but it's definitely one that people don't talk about quite as well. Maybe they do in the right place, talk about it quite as loudly as maybe they should.
I don't know if it's because people are embarrassed or like because so many podcasters are male. They think if they say something like The Sims, which is essentially like an animated dollhouse, it's going to sound like demasculine, or like, oh, it's got to be a shooter, or I've got to say Max Payne 2, or, you know, that you just sort of say something that kind of doesn't mean, oh, I like to build things, or I like to create things, or I like to, but like The Sims has grind. The Sims has, you know, as much world building as any of your Ark Survival Evolved. If there's crafting, there's, you know, all of these aspects are within it. It's just got this weird, there's a weird stigma, I think, from people that haven't looked into it about what it actually is. And actually we're super lucky that, like, in the world of streaming, say in like the last 2-3 years, more people are streaming it, so people can actually see all the incredible stuff you can do and all the different builds you can make and all the incredible like elven towers you can make with, you know, proper like paid for CC and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. And yeah, you can do some really dark things in this. Yeah.
I think we had Peggy Mitchell die on ours, and she was just like a zombie. She was like green.
Oh.
So yeah, that was quite sad.
Oh, poor Peggy.
I don't know if this is true because someone told me about this. Could you get people in The Sims and like create a room and then remove all the doors and stuff so they have nowhere to go, and they just slowly go mad because they can't get out?
They'll die if they can't. Yeah, from different things. Loads of different ways that you can die. And depending on the expansion, like, you can die from whatever new thing they've brought in as well, which is amazingly fun. But yeah, it's just that sick part of humans that were like, you know what, I just want to see what happens. And everyone's done it once.
Yeah, we like used to set fireworks off indoors and things like that, and cause house fires. This is taking me back like 20 years. I need to play The Sims again. I definitely need to.
The pool, drowning in the pool. You used to not be able to get out of the pools without having the ladder. Super simple. Get it swimming. Take out the ladder.
No,
I know.
See, I thought The Sims was a kids' game, but obviously not. I'm quite shocked.
Depends how you play it, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a big 18+ community as well for the Sims.
Is there?
Oh yeah, huge.
Oh, wow.
Huge. There's like brothel mods and loads of stuff like that. There's drug mods. You can be a drug lord. You can run a gang. There's loads of stuff like that.
Oh man, I'm going to end up going down a Sims rabbit hole on YouTube tonight. I can feel this. Like, I was totally unaware of the modern community in The Sims, so I've got to go and try and find. It's going to be a strange rabbit hole tonight. I can feel.
We know what mod you'll get, Ollie, don't we?
Yeah, dogging.
Oh, jeez.
I was going to. You have to explain that one, Ollie. You have to explain that.
It wasn't me that even. Oh god, it was a few second tangent. In the summer, we had Gebs 24 on the stream, which was really cool. I really enjoy her content a lot, so I was really excited. It was I said I would host it, but I was on holiday in Wales with my family at the time, so I sort of said, right, I'm gonna be ditching you for an evening to drive to a car park in the middle of like Swansea, so I could get half decent internet reception and stream from my car on my phone, so that I could be part of it. And my internet kept dropping out, and in the time that my internet dropped out, I can't remember whether it was Dorbs or right. Either way, these lot definitely just decided to throw in the idea to her that I could have been dogging, which there you go. So now
if you watch the video back, you just get darker and darker and darker to the point where your square is just black. You can just hear your
light on. Yeah, then I put the in-car light on, and someone started getting very concerned that I'm going to get a flat battery. Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yes. Let's move on from that, shall we? So the bottom line, there's some great rabbit holes to go down with The Sims. So there we go. So, what games are you playing at the moment? Is there anything you're particularly sort of into at the moment, or anything that you're maybe looking forward to that has yet to come out?
I am playing a lot of League of Legends at the moment because Arcane was so bloody amazing. It kind of ignited my need to get better. So I'm back in The Sims. I play bot lane, I play Lux, I play her one-handed. I think I'm like level 134 now, I think. So
high levels.
I can hold my own. I get an S. I've gotten an S+ on Lux and Mastery 7 as well on her. So I'm pretty good with just her. Anything else, and I'm absolutely terrible. Like, I can't jungle. But I'm a good support. I'm a good ADC. But yeah,
Excellent.
Arcane was just so good. It's just amazing.
Yeah, they're quite intense games as well, though. From what I must admit, they're not games that I've particularly put time into, but they definitely come across as quite. They can be quite intense when it needs to be.
I mean, it's like sport. Like if you're into your football, I find I think like football fans, if they don't understand games, I think would actually really love League because it's very it's got the same kind of, you need to know who these people are and these people are and what this does and what that doesn't. Like it's maths, but it's also thinking fast and teamwork, which I love about it. And I think that being able to manage the stress and being able to manage being tilt proof, I think is a large part of like what makes it fun. And I think that you can only get better with practice when it comes to that stuff too.
Excellent. See, my son is playing. Well, I say playing at the moment. I think he's been playing it for about the last, I don't know, ever. He's a massive Honkai fan, so he is just constantly smashing Honkai Impact 3rd at the moment. I think he sort of said he plowed something like nearly 2,000 hours into this game, and that again for me was like it's a really intense, fast thinking. I mean, he's clearly doing lots of things because you can hear him frantically clicking different parts of his mouse, but that game just goes mental for me. And that's I'm surprised that's not made its way to consoles yet, because I know they've done it with Genshin, which is like their sort of more their slightly more relaxed version of Honkai. But yeah, interesting. Is anybody else playing anything decent at the moment?
I started playing the new Football Manager on Xbox Game Pass the other day. It's not retro, but it's good. I managed to spend all of Newcastle's 200 million transfer budget and then lose to Man United 6-1. So it's not really going that well at the moment. But,
sounds like how the Premier League was. Yeah, no, it's not. I'm actually in Newcastle right now as well.
Oh wow!
I'll beat.
Amazing.
I'm still playing through Ni no Kuni 2, but I want to try and get to the end, and then my next game will either be the Uncharted games because I've never played them, or Bioshock games because I've never played Uncharted. I've never played Bioshock, so I think I'm just going to have to get Ollie and Dorbs in a room and have them fight it out to see.
I'm not fussed about
game
Bioshock.
series I should play.
You have.
I've never played Bioshock and I've never played Uncharted, and I've got all of them in like collections from like Xbox Game Pass and whatever different things. I think some are on the PlayStation, some on the Xbox, and I just never touched it. So when I finish playing through Ni no Kuni 2, I'm going to pick up one of those, but don't know what happened.
They'll be removed from Game Pass just as you're about to play.
That'd be funny.
I think some of them were like games with gold, so they're downloaded for good now. So then I don't think they're in Game Pass. I think they were games with gold many months ago.
You can literally mod The Sims 4 into Bioshock. You can get like the Bioshock flooring and stuff like that, and like all of the different outfits and stuff like that.
Oh man, you've blown my mind. That's amazing.
It's cool.
Oh, dude, Tim, Bioshock, put it just slightly
higher.
No,
do Uncharted, Tim.
There you go.
You should do like an update. Do a stream
I'll do
update.
a poll. I'll do a poll in our Facebook group to say what game series shall I do.
Absolutely.
Well, you can give us like updates every stream. How you getting on? What level you're on?
Someone should set up a Sims game and put us 5 in it and just see what happens.
Yeah,
obviously, I'd become the successful one. Dorbs would probably be like the housewife, just
Probably the toilet attendant.
Yeah.
Ollie be outside in his car.
In the car.
Shocking behaviour.
Triangle face making balloons.
There you go.
Yeah, you'd be a clown.
Yeah, have you got any balloons, Tim? You got any balloons with you?
I do. I've got a pack of balloons.
We found out from another tangent, funnily enough, a few weeks back, that during lockdown, Tim learned how to make balloon animals.
Yeah, balloon crafting. So, very good thing to do on a podcast. So,
yeah,
maybe
you
could download Retro Game Revival as a podcast here. Me making balloon animals.
No, I think I can see he's desperate. So
yeah, I can see he's desperate.
I can see he's itching to say something. So, go on then, Ryan.
Is it that time already?
Let's get it out of the way.
Let's do one of those and we can get back to what everybody's playing.
Okay. There'll be more of these later, but these are a little warm up for our Christmas special. So, here we go. We're all ready? Why did the gamer play so many video games after his breakup?
I don't know. Why did he?
He needed to console himself. That's good. Tim's laughing. Tim
Out of
is
pity,
laughing.
mate. Out of pity. That's terrible.
That was good.
Do you want to do another one now, just to sort of get it, see if you can redeem it quickly, or are we going to move on to what Dorbs is playing?
Gamers don't take hot showers; they take steamy ones. It's good. Oh, tough audience tonight. Tough audience.
Yeah, that's a word. Dorbs, what are you playing?
I'm playing, and I'm still playing Alan Wake Remastered.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I played a bit of it Saturday. I just got past the digger.
Okay.
Oh, which took me forever doing my head in.
I literally finished that at the weekend.
Oh, it's just, I don't know. I don't like the shadow people. They're doing me head in. There's too many of them to kill.
I still really enjoyed it. As like I said, I literally just finished it at the weekend. I still really enjoy it like I did the last time, but my memory of Alan Wake being a knob is still accurate. He is still a knob, like as a character. I like the game, I like the setting, I like the story, but him as a character, it's just he's a knob. And by the end of it, you're kind of like, yeah.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'm skipping all the cutscenes tonight, but he's it's just I just hate the shadow. There's too many. There are like 4 or 5 at once, and you just can't kill them. There's not enough time to kill them all.
And
then there's like play story-driven games.
Get the flares out.
It's just there's too many, and there's like a massive one for chainsaw. But yeah, I got past the digger, and I can't remember where I am now, but yeah, so I'll play it again at the weekend. But
press on, it's good.
Yeah, not overly impressed.
I went and did a blind buy of something called Evil Inside, because someone said, "Oh, it's a PT ripoff," and I had a real thing where I've sort of been hankering to play the PT demo again, but I couldn't be bothered to set up my PS4 and everything else. I was like, "Oh, this game's meant to be all right," so got it, and it was just awful. Completed it in an hour, platinum trophy in 1 hour, and it was pretty bad. I don't know if anyone else has played it.
Platinum in an hour?
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's Dorbs' heaven, that is.
Yeah, I think on that.
But it's basically exactly like PT. It looks exactly the same, just the graphics aren't as good, and the gameplay is really, really janky. Any atmosphere is immediately removed, because every time you feel scared, it's because there's a jump scare, which is not warranted at all. And then you get to the end, and the revelation of what's happened in the game happens, and you're just like, that's really bad. Like, really bad. If I wasn't sort of wanted that keeps my games, I'd be getting rid of that one, I think. But it's don't play Evil Inside if anyone's considering it. Dreadful.
I'll have to borrow it off you, mate.
Yes, you can borrow
He
it.
wants the platinum.
Just get the platinum and then give it back to you.
Shocking.
So, yeah,
shocking.
Sweet. Cheers for that.
So, is anybody else playing anything of worth before we move on to our next area of topics?
No, I'm still on Forza.
No,
still on Forza.
Stevie, you mentioned you played. You had a lot of VR. What are you playing? Any VR stuff at the moment?
Yeah.
What's your go-to VR games?
At the moment, I'm taking a bit of risk because I've been playing a lot of Jurassic World Aftermath, but mostly because I'm in it. So.
Wow. Cool. Right, let's find you.
Name mic drop.
Yeah, so like, yeah, got to. Yeah, so part 1 and 2. Part 2 just came out, so that's the last piece of VR that I've been playing. The part 1 came out a while ago, and then they released part 2 in time for Christmas. So I've been playing that, which is really, really good, and the ending's really fun. And I'm not going to spoil it, but if you're a fan of the Jurassic World franchise, it's really good. And I'm the voice of the NMS Center, so.
Amazing.
Technically speaking, because it's also canon, like Universal approved as canon, I'm the voice of Jurassic Park, which is kind of cool.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Oh, amazing.
That's got to be so cool to be involved in something like that and be like, yeah, that's me. I'm in there.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like when you hear stuff like in the game, like asset out of containment, and you're like, like it's so weird to like know that I got to do that. It was super, super fun. And yeah, like it was so weird because like I got to Laura Bailey does the main character in it. You don't ever see her, but you hear her. But I did her placeholder audio, so that like the QA team could like make the game and like get good timings and stuff like that. But I never thought anybody would ever hear me do that. And then at Develop, I randomly met a QA tester who actually worked on it. And she's like, oh, yeah, it had an original voiceover, but they replaced it halfway through. I'm like, oh, that was me. She's like, no, we used to quote you all the time. I'm like, it's like being famous, but not really, because it's only 10 people who will ever know that existed that actually got to sort of play that as with me as the main character, which is it's
so
I don't know, it's so cool, like to know
It's
that.
amazing.
Like, yeah, but I'm not the main character in it. I'm just I'm the voice of the park.
Right, we'll have to get
That's still pretty cool.
get a copy of that.
I've got a quest coming for Christmas, Quest 2.
Yeah, it's on Quest 2. I think so.
Yeah, it's mine. I had to it's one of them presents that I wanted, but I had to say, oh yeah, it's my son's as well. Yeah, we both want it, and he's only like 9, so I managed to get us one for Christmas. So can't
So
wait.
he won't be. We know he's going to be playing at Christmas Day, then, don't we?
Not when I've got Resident Evil 4 on there, and yeah. Can you imagine that? You have to try and put a lock on it. But yeah.
Beautiful.
Do you think we should do or can do voiceover work? What do you think?
Everyone can do voiceover work. Yeah, like it's super fun. You've got to be good at sight reading because a lot of the time the scripts come in really, really late. So, it's not good if you need to like rehearse a lot. Like, it's really good to be able to sight read. But I mean, otherwise, like, they have the guy who gets like mauled by the Rex or like all that stuff. It's just screaming for a really long time. But like, yeah, it's super, super fun. You really get to do like the get out of there kind of stuff. And, it's like, it's the best. It's like being able to pretend you're in a movie all the time.
That's so cool.
You do it in your pajamas, which is better.
Yes, perfect. Cool. Perfect.
Can anyone do any voiceover? I always thought I could do the ending of Street Fighter. You know when you get hit. Yeah.
Go on then.
I thought you can go. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Good. Very
I think
good.
Jonas has he can get a job now.
We'll have to
immediately.
we'll clip that as a text message thing.
That'd be, whenever Blunners rings anyone now on the phone, that's going to be the thing that comes through.
Who's that?
I love
Tim, you're good with videos. Surely you can piece together some Street Fighter fighting scene and then add that bit that Blunner's just done at the end there.
I've done a little bit of voice acting, only for like my own stuff or stuff that my mates have done. So I haven't done anything. It's just amateur stuff. But a friend of mine did a radio show thing that was quite cool. It was on like a radio that was like tuning in and out of different channels. So it's kind of like a compilation of like just dipping into like a news story or a song and things like that. And we did some voiceover for that, which was quite fun. So we actually did that in a recording studio as well. So it's good to like go in and actually like record it properly in the studio.
That's cool. I love doing that. It's fun. Like, I'm so sad. Like E4 has replaced me on their idents. I used to be on the idents before and after the 100, doing like the gift gab sponsors entertainment on E4.
Oh yeah.
Which is cool, but they don't use me anymore. So like, I got to go into a studio to do that like properly, and I felt like so famous. I felt proper famous. They had water and everything. They're like, "Can we get you something?" I'm like, "What? What is this?"
It's warming the vocal cords up.
Yeah. You probably are like, "Oh yeah, no, just water, please." Thanks.
Make sure it's room temperature.
Oh yeah. No, what is this?
3 ice cubes.
Like tipping things over and stuff like that. That's why they don't use me anymore. Yeah, it's good fun.
Amazing. Okie dokie. So, moving on to our next question for you, which is sort of more to do with, how did you get started in the industry? What was it that was sort of like your first link into the games industry?
So, the first thing I ever did in the industry was in 2007. And it was an episodic TV show called Eve TV, which ran for 21 episodes. Basically, I'd been playing World of Warcraft at Christmas, and I looked for TV stuff, and they were looking for somebody that played MMOs, that understood what gaming was and was into gaming. And basically, CCP Games, who make EVE Online, they wanted to put a TV show about games on the internet, which was something that hadn't been done before. And, you know, so like Justin TV, I think, did just exist. Twitch was founded 2007. YouTube, I think, had been around a year by this point. Had been launched a year. So it was, Wired said it was a world's first. So I'm going to go with what Wired said. And it was the first sort of online streamed show about video games. But it was so crazy because the whole thing was like proving, do people want to watch something about games? Like at the time, it's like no one's going to want to watch games. Like, is this too niche? What do they pay for it? Like, do they pay per episode? Like, we had it on like a CD-ROM in PC Gamer at one point. I think an episode to try and get people to go online to see it. It wasn't a proven format at all. We filmed in Ealing Studios in London. And I eventually became the community manager on Eve. So I lived in Reykjavik for 4 years. But I just fell in love with the community and the devs and the game. And, you know, they flew me out to do like FanFest coverage. And then they flew me out to do the Alliance tournament coverage, which again was like esports in its infancy. Like, I think the first Alliance tournament was like 2005, like in its infancy. So yeah, so like again, like you're working out my age again. Oh god. But yeah, so like that's how I got started. And like to be honest, like the oh my god, yes, Richard, it was me. Yeah, and to be fair, like I've never ever stopped loving the EVE Online community and CCP, and they brought me back to work on Valkyrie, and
Nice.
They're just EVE players. They're just the best. Like that's my like. I feel more at home in a room of like 1,000 EVE players than anywhere else in the world. And if I see like the CCP logo, I just feel like I'm at home because it's where I got my start, and I just love them. I love them, and I love the community. And,
so cool.
Yeah.
So Eve is one of those games that you see there's so much lore about it now, and there's so much to dive into, and it is one of those games that I think as a console gamer, I was genuinely quite jealous of when you could see some of my mates who were PC gamers, and they would play things, and they would, you know, one of the games that one of my mates was really big into was EVE Online, and it blew my mind, like just the absolute vastness that this game had, and then it's just continued to grow. And you know, I played a little bit of Valkyrie with that was the VR game, wasn't it, Valkyrie?
Yeah. Yes. First launch title on the Oculus Rift was EVE Valkyrie.
That was impressively good fun. But it's just, I think I'm too far out of the realms of it now to even sort of just kind of go in and see what it's like. I think
it's never too late to get an alpha code. I don't know what the rates are these days, but I'm pretty sure you can play for free now as well. Yeah. And the learning curve is like join Goonswarm. They'll get you a freighter. They'll get you your first ship, and they'll look after you. If you ever need anyone I'll fix you up with a good corp. They'll only like stab you in the back like 20 times. After that, then you'll know that they're friends.
Then they're good guys. Then we're in. Amazing. That's really cool. But that's a really cool thing to be able to sort of look back on, and like you say, you see these little like snippets. Maybe somebody's wearing a shirt with a logo on it, and it kind of, like you say, it takes you straight back to what gave you a start, and that's cool. I really like people that sort of get into the industry with, you know, sort of stories like that, because it kind of makes it feel like they love being there. Yeah.
I mean, if I hadn't gotten that audition, I would not have been in games for the next 15 years. Like it literally changed the trajectory of my entire life. Ended up in Reykjavik for 4 years. I was like, what are you doing? You know, like it gets you, and like the games community is just so addictive once you get started, and the sort of the family you create, and it's just amazing. And I'm so glad that like my first sort of big game and my first sort of big job was something that's still alive and still going, and is something that, you know, you can still like, it's still making headlines. People are still screwing each other over. They're still amazing. They're still doing incredible things with science and tech for good, and like all of that amazing stuff, and that's never going to change.
Incredible. So where did you go from there? So after you sort of spent your time with Eve and all the development you've done there, where did you go from there?
So I went to, I got this habit of like going when things start getting like really good. So like I then went to Multiplay, which is like the Insomnia Gaming Festival. I was like their first community manager. So again, when esports was kicking off, we're now in like so when MMOs were kicking off, I was there. And then when MOBAs started to kick off, so like there was this time when like League of Legends and StarCraft, like this all became like very, very, very in. That's when I moved into esports. So so I went to Multiplay, and we grew LAN from what was quite a small thing to what became a really, really big thing. And then obviously it got bought by Game for millions, which is cool. And again, it's just for community, it's just such an amazing example of like going from this online world to live, where like it's literally a community in front of you where people are like living in rows, and then there's food, and there's a watering hole, and then there's people copulating or whatever, like it's a live community is such a different thing to manage. And it was so much fun, and I just love live events. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm quite chatty, so it's like it's perfect. Like I absolutely loved it, and working with Multiplay and all of that side of the industry, it was super fun.
Amazing. So what was it that sort of drew you into ended up working for Future? Because I had a friend who worked for Future for a little while. Actually, he's married to my wife's best friend, which is quite nice. But he now lives out in Dubai now. And he used to work in the Bath office, so we used to go and see them in Bath, and he'd sort of just basically take me into his office, and we'd play the latest PlayStation games all the time. And he, all the random people that worked in there, there'd be all these like free games that he'd throw at me. It was like it was the best time of my life, really. But to sort of go from community managing and working with EVE Online to sort of jump into Future, that seems like quite a shift. Was that quite a shift for you to sort of in terms of the sort of
doesn't feel like it, because I'm still managing online games communities.
Okay.
It's just you're not playing a game, you're talking about games. Yep. So really the science of what I do, I'm not necessarily, I've done community management, but what I am is a community developer. So I specialize in growing communities from scratch. So for example, like Eve Valkyrie, you're dealing with this brand new headset that's the verge of technology, brand new technology. It's got these early adopters coming in. How do you grow a community for that from scratch, knowing that the install base is going to be what it is and hardware is what it is? That's when you bring someone like me in. So for example, with PC Gamer, they wanted to launch a forum, and it's like, well, how do we do this in the modern age when there's Reddit and there's this and there's that, and like, does anybody want this? You bring me in, I create that, and now there's like over 200,000 people using it. So it's one of these things where the actual science of community development, it's kind of the same, because the bespoke stuff changes, but the general principles of like transparency, events, engagement, keeping people interested, good customer support, talking to the people who are creating your content. The content just changes from a games release to an article. And you're still in the games industry, and you're still reading new stuff every day, and you're still creating an area that's non-toxic, where people can share their opinions and not be jerks, and feel like they can talk about stuff that's sometimes really hard to talk about. Like, it's been a hard year for the games industry, but like, the journalists need to be able to cover it, and need to be able to do that without being afraid to do so. And I love it. So for me, it's not really like a huge shift. There's less sort of like huge deadlines for one particular release. If anything, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday is probably the busiest time for games and tech, because there's so many people Googling like deals and stuff like that. But like, it just depends on what's going on. But I love it. Like, it feels exactly the same to me. It's just a different content.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing you really feel when you're talking about it, is you do love it, and that's probably why people pull you in.
Like, this is cool. Like,
amazing.
Thank God. Thank God we get to work in games.
That is really awesome. And that's that's where you're currently at now, isn't it? You're, like you said at the beginning, you're with Future now. Yes. Amazing. So this might sort of segue us quite nicely onto our
Christmas cracker joke.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
What do you think, Stevie? Do you want one more joke, Stevie, or do you want to move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to feel
Right.
something.
Okay.
You won't, trust me.
What is the favourite gaming console of the French?
The Wii?
A Wii. Yes.
Ah.
I thought that as well.
See, Dorbs is laughing. I've got to laugh.
Yeah, because I got it. I ruined your joke for you. So yeah, I'm pleased.
Ah.
That's good.
That was good, wasn't it?
It's
one of your better ones.
It's something. It's something. I'll give you
Oh,
that.
this is a good one. Why won't Mike Tyson play on a PlayStation? This is brilliant. He's an ex-boxer.
Ah.
That doesn't deserve that. That was good.
No, I quite like that. I don't.
I mean, it works, doesn't it?
I mean, it warranted a.
It's
Well, we've
good,
actually
that
got some feedback on one of your jokes, Ryan. So there you go.
I actually enjoy turkey, so I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, very, very dry. So dry.
Are you going to try and squeeze some more jokes in later on, dude? Or are
Maybe
you gonna have
later. Yeah, maybe
Shocking.
later.
When we've all
Shocking
gone to
behaviour.
bed, hopefully.
So, segueing us quite nicely into the current run of GamesMaster,
Yeah.
a series that, when was announced, there's lots of people talking about it, lots of people sort of
So good.
wondering how it was going to work, who was going to be the GamesMaster, who's going to be the presenters, how are they going to do it in the modern era, considering that, you know, people can just watch whatever gameplay for, you know, games that aren't even out yet immediately if they want to.
Mhm.
And I think everyone has been really pleased with the show. It's been
Aw.
really well received. I think everyone that likes the original show, maybe by a handful of people, really have enjoyed it. I know we've, as a panel, have all absolutely loved it. We can't believe it's
Yeah,
only
love
been
it.
3 episodes and now it's
So
kind of
good.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
disappointing.
love it.
Keep
So, yeah,
talking. Keep
Right,
talking. We
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
We love it.
Oh, because
Yeah.
whenever you remake something, I think because it's a remake of an old thing. Whenever something's remade, it happens a lot in like films as well. Is that if you change too much, I always feel like, well, why was it a remake? You could have just made something new. It didn't need to be like a remake. But if you don't change enough, it's almost a case of, well, why did you bother doing it? Because you haven't changed it enough.
Mm.
I think you've got to find that real fine line between changing it enough that it's new, but not changing it so much that it's completely different. And I think the
Yeah.
Games Master we got was like right spot on where it needed to be, and I really enjoyed it for that, because I think they had some really clever choices of games. Like we were looking at, they had things like Mario and Mortal Kombat, but it was like the recent Mario and Mortal Kombat games, but it still had that retro feel to it, and kind of reminds you of the original Games Master, but still doing
Even
something
the
modern.
presenter is
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Dominic Diamond, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
exactly like him.
He's got that vibe about him, hasn't he? I think in
Yeah.
that first episode, I think the first thing he says is, "And now my slightly more E4 friendly co-host." You're like, okay, yeah, he kind of gets exactly where it was at before.
Yeah.
For the Games Master, mate. Trevor McDowell, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know
Love
what?
it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
So
it.
good.
Spoiler.
I can't believe he said
It's,
a rude word, didn't he?
Yeah, when that happened, I literally spat my tea out. I
Love it.
laughed so much. I had to wind it back and watch it again. I couldn't believe he said it.
I think
It's just so funny. It's
I
brilliant.
think we had a chat with a streamer called
Love
Mean
it.
Machine Dean, who is an incredibly good Twitch streamer, and I think it was him we had on, and we were trying to have a poll as to who we thought the Games Master would be, and he called Trevor McDonald.
Did
Yeah.
he?
What episode was
He
he
did.
on? What episode was he on?
It was maybe a month before the reveal, maybe
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
It was a good few
Before.
weeks before, but he just sort of said Trevor McDonald would be really good. And we were like,
Don't
okay,
forget he's very good mates with Big Boy Barry, isn't he?
Exactly.
So maybe
Inside knowledge. Inside
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah, I think he had inside knowledge, because our guesses of Barry from EastEnders, Dorbs, you guessed Noel Edmonds.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Oh, God, can you
Very
imagine?
serious
And then
guesses,
Blobby
definitely.
turns up, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, through the gate.
Blobby!
Floppy. Push him in. Yeah.
shocking. So, with us sort of gushing about how much we have enjoyed the show, how did you come to be a consultant with that, and how much of the show did you actually manage to sort of work on? Tell us about it. Tell us stuff.
Well, future. I might get the specifics of this wrong, but Future owns the Games Master. because of the IP and stuff like that. And then a part of Future is also Barcroft Studios, which is now called Future Studios. So Future owns the TV production company. So it's like this perfect storm of like having the we spent so much time talking about whether we didn't think whether we should. It's like, well, if you can, let's do it. You know, like it's like the perfect storm of having all the people that you'd need to come up with that side of it and to actually produce it to the beautiful extent that that it came about to be, which is amazing. So obviously we knew about it for a while but couldn't say anything, but so I mean that's just basically it. Just I wasn't in the room when the decision got made. I wish I could say I was, but I wasn't. I'm also not a showrunner, so the showrunners and the writers are all different people, so I'm afraid I'm not responsible for any of that amazing stuff. But I did get to work with the producers. I got brought in as a consultant, which was absolutely lovely. They are amazing and they work so quickly and so hard. It is unbelievable. I'm so used to game development and like kind of like the launch schedules for that. TV is like, it's a bit like theatre in that it just all comes together and then all of a sudden you've got a show. Just because everyone is just literally the best that they are, the best in the business. And that it was incredible. It's like the best. It's like by far the best days of my year. I went down for the whole shoot, which was 3 days. So we filmed 3 episodes over 3 days, but it wasn't like an episode a day. Different stuff got shot on different days. And I got to work with the talent, and I also got to be Frankie Ward's stand-in, which was totally fun because I didn't have anything else to do that morning, and I was just hanging around like trying to like be helpful. So like I got to wear a name tag that said Frankie, and I was like standing in while the cameras did all their tests and stuff, which it was amazing. I loved it. It was like the best. So this is what I do now. I'm just a professional stand-in, like Laura Bailey, Frankie Ward. If you need someone to not actually be a star, it's me. I love it. It was so great.
It was amazing.
I got to consult on it. I got to consult on contestants, and I got to help out on different technical bits, and I got to do anything that they'd let me do during the shoot, including looking after everyone backstage and doing show matches before things went live. So before the shows go live, I'd be playing a video game on the screen so people could watch and get the crowd excited and stuff like that. Just basically like all the fun stuff. So I got to do all the fun stuff and none of the hard work. I didn't lift anything. I didn't carry anything. I didn't have any of the responsibility. I got maximum praise for it.
Dream
Sounds
job.
like Dorbs on these streams, to be honest. I think
yes, Dorbs.
Yeah, behind the scenes, but you're working hard. So it's good. Yeah,
it was really hard work, really long shoots, but I just love that stuff. It sounds weird, but it's like it's also it's GamesMaster. So like you get there and you're like, oh shit, it's GamesMaster, and they'll pipe in the audio and you're like, it's GamesMaster. Yeah. And then like on day one we actually had Christian Din, who like came back, and like he was like one of the first people on, and like he gets out the joystick, and I'm just like, no fucking way. Everybody over the age of 30 is just like, and like the younger influencers streamers are like, I watched some episodes, I don't know what like the production crew don't know, they're just like, I don't know, and they're just like, you don't know what this is, but people have killed across oceans of time for this. Like it's like a few things from our childhood that possess this kind of power, like Mallet's mallet, Melanie like I don't know what other objects there are that like that for 80s kids we've just got these things that were just like the most important things in the world, and it was just so lovely to like be able to be like a part of that backstage and look after the people that I'd brought in, and make sure everyone was fed and watered, and look after Larry, and like I just loved it. It was so great. And like obviously this was post-COVID, like not post-COVID, we're still in COVID, but being able to be, it sounds weird, but it's like the first time in like 2 years that I'd been in a room of gamers again. It was so nice. Like we have it all set up backstage, so like they can practice, and you're like everyone's joking around with each other, and people that aren't meant to be playing Tekken are playing Tekken in the corner, and like they're pushing each other off the seats and stuff like that. And you just think, oh, I'm back. Like gaming's back. It's back in the real world, and people are enjoying it, and it was magical. It was such a magical experience. Yeah. Great.
I'm really glad they managed to get a live audience in there as well, because that was also some of the things that really made the really good seasons of GamesMaster. I can't remember, but did the last couple of seasons of the original GamesMaster did it not have a live audience? I can't remember now. There was the one where he's on the beach, or he went to heaven. I seem to remember maybe the latter series not having a live audience, and it wasn't the best season. But those first early ones where there is a live audience with people sort of just getting involved, shouting around, it's like. Yeah, so I'm so glad that it managed to get that live interaction with it as well, because it does just make it's
the energy. Yeah, it totally does. Yeah. It makes like what it would be like quite a quiet, game of Street Fighter or whatever. It makes it like incredible because people are watching, and like there's that pressure on it, and there's that, and also because like they literally do just get one go at it as well. Like the challenge is it's not like, oh whoops, I pressed escape. Can we go again? It's like this is your time. Good luck. Don't fuck it up. Go. So there really is that esports feeling of like, can you do this? Can they do it? And that's really cool as well. Even if it's just for fun, and even if even if it's just for the the like splash, like it's still a live show, and yeah, there is that magic to it where it's
cool.
That FIFA challenge this week was brutal. Oh,
yeah,
that was
brutal. Tough,
that was so tough.
Oh, down 10 men.
3-0 down.
You did all right there. You scored one goal.
Yeah, good luck.
Right.
Yeah, that was very, very tough.
I think, to be fair, we would have easily beaten that challenge, wouldn't we?
No, we wouldn't have. I couldn't have even done that on easy mode, I don't think.
Shocking. That's quite an interesting question there from Rob Taylor that he's put up there. So is this sort of like Rick has sort of said in the chat there, is this kind of like a test in the water to see whether it's something people want, or is it just to see, how come it was such a short stint?
I do not have that information. This is the standard PR answer. It was commissioned as 3 episodes, so there wasn't any kind of there was 7 and they've stopped at 3. Nothing like, there's no drama there or anything. We made 3, and the rest remains to be seen. And I think it's testament to the fact that so many people love it and would like it to keep going.
100%.
Which is lovely, but obviously, again, I'm not in the room. I'm not an executive. I don't know that stuff. I just bring cake. I don't know, but it wasn't any it didn't get cancelled after 3. It's not like Firefly or Dollhouse or whatever. It's 3 were made.
Yeah. Because it kind of feels like maybe it's like a test in the waters to see how it does. Do people like it? Do people want it? If people are sort of reacting well to it, which I think overwhelmingly people are, hopefully it will get commissioned as a full series, because it's one of those weird things in the age of the internet where we can just watch whatever we want, borderlining, whenever we want. You can watch people play video games on a platform if you want to. You can watch all kinds of content. But things that we've talked about on this stream over the last year is there a gap in the market for a gaming TV show? And the answer is always yes, if it's done right.
We were talking about 90s TV shows, one of our earliest streams, I think. Weren't we talking about 90s? Could they make a comeback? And that's just been a running topic for a lot of our streams now, isn't it? Because we've all been really.
A lot of us used to.
What is it like that? You again with starting in Eve, where the conversation is, does anyone want to watch a video game, something about a video game online? What? Not play it? No, just talking about it. And the answer is yes. Mm-hmm. And now the question everyone's asking is Games Talk ready for mainstream TV? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing. If you'd said 15 years ago, is anybody going to watch, 4 lads talk about video games, that it said no. Mm-hmm. Or I don't know, where are you going to put it? Will anyone and now obviously there's so many different streamers, YouTubers, influencers, chat show, the esports, like it's completely gone huge. But are we at a point now where the world that we created for ourselves online, because it wasn't on BBC Two or wherever it is do enough of us do this now where, instead of the Strictly results, you can flip over and it's actually the GamesMaster results, or it's actually, the stuff that we know and talk about. And like if a streamer comes on the telly, is everyone going to know who they are? The same as if like an old footballer comes on Match of the Day, like it's that kind of thing where like in any other hobby case, absolutely. And for some reason, games is, because we've carved out this incredible area for ourselves on the internet, it's just an interesting question as to whether or not we're ready to pivot back, and whether or not
like Big Boy Barry coming back. That was, I grew up with him on Games World, as many of us here have, and we didn't have a clue he was coming on, and it was amazing.
So cute as well, because like his kid came in and he'd been at school and he had his little uniform on. And it was God, so cute. And then he transforms into obviously it's so nice, and like it was such a lovely. It made backstage so nice because like again we're talking about like the magic of it, and I don't know if it can be GamesMaster without kids. Like, I feel like even like there was these kids in the audience, and it cut to them sometimes, and I just think, like that you kind of like need that belief of like, and the same thing with like flushing people down the thing and stuff like that. The whole point is that it's fun and that it's about like creating these characters. The original was creating these characters, and he's a robot, and there's this and there's that, and we're on a beach, and because that's what games do. So having a kid on and having that, being able to pass this kind of idea of like there's this ultimate games tournament and you get to win this thing, but there's this magical person in the sky that's going to give you a challenge, and like that's so fun. Like I hope that like kids get this, because kids don't have this now. So like that magic of it, it's like, it sounds weird, but like on the first day we had Christian back, so it's like, all right, we've got the challenger of old. It's like, and now we bring back the Big Boy Barry, and he's brought the new blood to put inside the thing. And then you've got like games reviewers coming in, and then you've got like a podcast coming in, and you've got like the people from the Game Jam came in as well. And it's like you're sort of creating some weird magical spell to like conjure up GamesMaster, conjure up like all the things that everyone loves about games into something exciting and joyful and wholesome, and yet awful. It felt right.
It does. It does feel right. Sorry, go on, Tim.
I was going to say there's one segment I think we would like to see, which has been suggested in the comments. If you want to show the most recent thing.
Well, I was going to say,
if we do get any more episodes,
if you're in contact with the producers, Stevie, whether we can arrange this. So we'll have
I have no say on this. I have no say on. I'm not on the phone. We're not the show is fine.
This is what the people want. This is, if we had a people's vote.
Is that what the people want?
This is what the people want. Big Rick versus Big Boy Barry. That needs to happen. So maybe, if it does get commissioned again, fingers crossed it will.
We'll get a hashtag of Big Rick.
That. Yeah. Big Rick versus BBB.
Yeah. And if E4 won't do it, the BBC will. So you want to get on there quick.
They don't own the IP. They can't.
No. Yeah. If we get any more episodes, we'll definitely start a hashtag.
We need
to get trending that we need to see.
Definitely.
I reckon we need to be in the audience.
Do you know what? We should get some like proper, like more sort of old school people, but from different parts of nostalgia. Like you were saying, Noel Edmonds. Like I feel like wouldn't it be kind of like all of a sudden there's noise and it's like activate, and all of a sudden the robots come back from Robot Wars. Feel like Do you know what I mean? Like I would really love it if it became like just some weird thing where like you never knew what part of 90s nostalgia would just end up crashing onto the show.
Like Mr. Motivator, for example.
Yeah, or like
so
Zach
funny.
from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, any of the ones that aren't in prison, like anything like that would be like so fun, and like something for the grown-ups in the room to kind of go, oh, that's like something we remember.
Also, I think having like a retro challenge as well. Not so it's modern games, like like modern tech, one of they like the PS1 gets cracked out or something, and then someone's playing for
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Yeah.
We know that.
Do you know what I mean?
We know that E4 watched this channel because
Oh, yeah.
my
here we
suggestion. But I need to ask a couple of questions. Just out of interest, when was it actually filmed? You said it's filmed over 3 days. When was that filmed?
When or where?
When?
October?
October.
Is it
Okay.
October?
Oh man,
But
Dorbs
do you
isn't
know
gonna
where
let
you're going?
Dorbs
So
isn't going to
that's-
let this go.
5
What?
months. Well, basically, on a
What?
stream with Big Boy Barry, Alex Ferry,
Yeah. When did we have him in?
26th of May.
Oh.
Yeah, 26th of May. It's on our channel. I suggested I'll keep it brief. I suggested he can make a comeback and like a reality TV show sort of thing, where it shows what he's doing nowadays, and he could have a son, either Big Boy Barry Jr. or Little Lad Larry. So I'm just I'm speaking to our legal department about this.
Are you trying to get paid, Dor?
No, I've already said E4 can use it. I'm happy for them to use it. It's no problem. But maybe I can get a writing credit. I'm trying to build a
I think
timeline.
he just he'd like a created in the title. I think sort of in the credits,
Yeah.
just under Little Lad Larry, created by Vanilla
Yeah.
Dawes.
So, I've got May. I suggested it, and it's filmed in October, so that's 5 months. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to figure out the timeline for that one. I have to do some more research.
Well, we know the timeline is 5 months.
I know, but I have to figure out what happened in between, who actually discussed it. And brought it up. So,
Shocking behavior.
Again,
no,
I
no,
do nothing. I'm not part of this. I did not greenlight
I'm only-
that
I'm only
idea.
joking.
I don't
I'm
know
only joking.
anything. I didn't commission anything. I didn't create anything. I just work
Look,
here.
it was I'll give a quick review. I'm not going to lie. Before it started, I was very skeptical. First episode, I was really enjoying it, and obviously, I've got a little, well, not a clip, a little picture. Obviously, my favourite bit, I'm not going to deny it, is that I loved that promo. I loved when he come out. I love Little Lad Larry. Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. So it's such a good show. Because like I know we touched on it earlier, like remakes, they're garbage. Like I loved 18.
Yeah.
The film is garbage.
Yeah.
Knight Rider, the remake of that was garbage. What else?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, yeah.
I sit in a very strange camp in that I actually don't hate the remake movie. I actually think it's all right. It's not the best thing that's ever been made, but I like Paul Feig and I like the actresses in it. Some of the jokes are a bit hit and miss.
I got a major crush on the sort of Sarah McKinnon. Yeah, massive crush on her. Like like they did everything right. It just didn't. For me, it didn't feel like Ghostbusters. I feel like the new Ghostbusters feels like Ghostbusters.
It's good. It's really
I was talking to the showrunner about like, what do you do when you're given this baby of like the hopes and dreams of everybody in their 30s ever, the thing that they remember fondly and love, and you get told, right, make this new again or make this a new thing. Like, how do you go about like making sure that it feels like that there's callbacks, but it's not a constant, hey, remember when we were kids kind of thing. And again, making something like that 4E4 where it has to be cool, it has to be relevant, it has to be something that people that are younger than us would be interested in watching and be excited to tune into. What a massive challenge that is. Like I thought they did an incredible job, and it's so nice to be able to read all the comments about all of that stuff as well, and how it's represented.
I loved it, and it's just a shame it's on telly at like 10 o'clock because we were watching it on YouTube. It's just a shame it's on at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, but they might rerun it, mightn't they? Remember like The Office when that was first shown? That was on at like 10:30, BBC Two after Bowls or something, and then it catches on, doesn't it? The more people watch it, and then they'll.
The way people watch TV's changed, hasn't it? A lot of people don't watch live TV in the same way nowadays. A lot of people watch it on
Family Guy didn't get famous until it had a DVD release. The first season of Firefly never aired in the UK. This happens like a lot more than people think it does when it comes to different timing zones and stuff like that. And I mean, stuff like Adult Swim, Robot Chicken, all of this had the night shift, right? Because that's when everybody's high. So like, or drunk. So like, I think like it would be lovely to have have a show like GamesMaster or have GamesMaster on like the 6 o'clock, the 7
It should
o'clock
do,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Absolutely. I know there's a bit of swearing in, but you can bleep that out nowadays. There's no problem.
You can get away with so
I'm
much
sure
now
there's-
before Watershed.
I'm sure there's different ways you could write a show as well to have it be more of a kids, like there's definitely a version of that show that could have been for kids. There's definitely a version of that show that could have been really late night, like with a lot of the older stuff that didn't age too well, and you know all the different bits and pieces. But like being able to hit it kind of on the nose and be something fun and exciting for everybody, I think is
absolutely.
I think the thing that really sort of encapsulated it for me was we spoke to Justice for Dorbs. We spoke to Dave Perry months ago, and that was one of the things that we were like genuinely quite nervous about, because he's quite a big 90s legend for us in that kind of sense. And he always he talked about GamesMaster and that, or, you know, the early runs of it as being, I can't remember the words he used. I think he just said it was for us, it was for gamers, and that's why people loved it. Yeah, exactly. And I kind of feel like the show still is for gamers. It's still for us. It still speaks to us, and that's why everyone's watched it and gone, yeah, it's great. It's because it hasn't lost that GamesMasterness that it had to kick off with. It's maybe not as naughty as it was, but then it's not the 90s. You know, you can't get away with saying some of the stuff that Dominic Diamond got away with saying back then. And even now, you know, I've said this before on streams that I've watched old GamesMaster with my son. You know, my son he is an adult. He's 18, and you know, we've watched old GamesMaster in the morning if he's up. It's just some of the stuff that Dominic Diamond would say, and you just suddenly look over at him, and he's like, "You can't say that now, can you?" You're like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, the 90s must have been a little bit more wild than it is now." And you're like, "Yeah, it was," but you know, things changed, and they changed for a good reason. And I think this current run of GamesMaster managed to do everything it needed to do pretty much perfectly.
I don't think it could have worked without people that love games and people that are really into games doing it. I think like down to like again, like Frankie, like having Frankie on, who is just so well versed in all of the different games and so passionate and so good about like all the different mechanics and stuff like that, because she's a caster. Like she casts huge events. It works because you've actually got some, like, if you are literally watching for the actual game, you've got the person there that's able to really fill you in on why this is difficult, why this version of Tekken is hard, why this is the most difficult level on this, or what they need to do, and that makes that exciting. And then if you're watching it for like the kind of, you know, the sort of off-key funny like skits and stuff like that, you've got Rabbit, you've got Ty, you've got educating Grado, which is like my new favorite thing. The last one, like, it got me laughing. I didn't want to like it, and it really did. And you've got that, and I think, and then obviously because of the contestants we've got on are gamers and are people that just love games and do play, and it isn't just people off the street. Like, that, you know, you can tell, and I think like audiences are really good at spotting inauthenticity, I guess, is the one. Like, you can tell when people are phoning it in. You can tell when a presenter doesn't play games and they've been booked for a games gig. You can tell when a streamer doesn't play games and they've been booked on a gig. You can tell when someone's not excited to be there if they are excited to be there, but everyone was super excited to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can tell that, and I think viewers can sense that, and you know, that's true for pretty much any kind of entertainment. Like, you know, you can't phone it in.
No.
What you saying that really made me think of the Karate Kid series they brought out, the Cobra Kai series.
Yeah, Cobra Kai.
Because, like, I really enjoyed the Karate Kid films, and when they did I think they said it was authentic. That series feels really authentic. So they've got a lot of the original cast, and it feels like they're actually really putting a lot of thought into it. And it's got a lot of heart. I think that's what makes it a really good show, because it's not just a cash grab, like, cheap reboot. I think there's loads of reboots which aren't so good, but every now and then you get a really good reboot or something like that. I think it's, you know, GamesMaster's done that. I think it's a really good, solid reboot that's kind of found that right balance of doing something new but keeping some of that original content in there.
Definitely, we've had an amazing GamesMaster year. That the five of us, spoke to Rick Henson, Dave Perry, Big Boy Barry, now you, Stevie. So, yeah, for us,
You got to the lowest ring on the ladder of
no,
the
no,
guns that showed up
all.
looking for work.
no,
Not at all. It's one of these weird things. Like, this is something that we just started in lockdown for something to do. Everyone's sort of stuck at home. I'm driving my wife fucking mental because I can't do anything and go out of the house, and then all of a sudden we just sort of figured, oh well, people have fun doing this. Why don't we give it a go? And our aim was to just try and speak to a couple of people from GamesMaster. We're like, if we get to that point, we'll be well happy. And then it's just, which is why we are genuinely shocked when we approach people like yourself and anyone who's involved in the industry. Like, do you want to come on and chat to five schmucks about gaming and stuff? And people are like, yeah, go on then. Like,
we'll talk to anyone who'll listen, because it's legend, and we're old, and it's different. Like, hey, do you want to talk about like the World's Championship of League of Legends this year? It's like, well, like there's a lot of people talking about that right now. Like, I want to talk to old people who like remember things that no one else would, because like the kids don't know. They know nothing. It's the children who are wrong. Like, we want to talk to people that are as excited about it as we were when we knew it was coming back. And that's like, I think that's the fun thing about it, is it's like The Witcher. It's got that thing of like, this is gonna be good. God, I hope it's good. And then it was good, and then everyone was really happy. It's nice to be able to. It's nice when we get to have nice things. So,
it is.
I feel like we're really spoiled now. There's so many things I love that have been made, like comic books I love that have been made into films or TV shows.
magazines.
Right. I think two of my favorite comics were like Invincible and The Boys, and then both of them got Amazon Prime series. And I was like,
they're both good. They're both good.
This is like anything, though, isn't it? That idea of all the things that we, most of us were either sort of ostracized from at school because, you like the weird thing, which was, comic books, video games and shit. And it's so funny now that, like, as an adult, where we've got disposable outgoing, where we can actually sort of like invest in the things that we like now. And, if I could go back and tell, like, 8-year-old me that, there's going to be $1 billion, Spider-Man movies made in your lifetime when you're an adult, you're like, nah, it's just never going to happen. And movies about video games and the games industry being as big as it is now, where people are making so many great content, where it does rival, I might have made this stat up, but I'm sure I've read somewhere that the video games industry is bigger than the movie industry now.
It is.
Profit wise, I think for the UK, you'd have to talk to Yuki. Yuki hold the figures on games industry revenue for the UK. They're amazing. But like, it's big money now.
Massive. So, and that's only happened because people love it. And because people love it, people want to put more into it. And, people even nowadays who just never gamed back then and don't game now, and you sort of talk about all these like really emotional roller coasters you can go on with a story, and they're sort of like, oh, what TV show is that? And you're like, it's not, it's a video game. They're like, oh. It's like, yeah, you've missed out. You've spent 15 years, like 20 years slagging off video games, and now Last of Us is getting a TV series, and there's all these just incredible.
And everyone's
IPs.
gonna cry, and everyone's gonna be sad, and everyone's gonna be everyone who played the game is gonna like know what happens, and we are gonna be as insufferable as Game of Thrones fans. Finally,
exactly.
I was one of those who had read the books. I was one of those annoying ones. Oh, that never happened in the book.
It's not in the book.
Yeah. I was one of those annoying people. I hold my hands up. I was gonna ask what if you've got a favourite memory from the previous, like the original GamesMaster series.
I can't say Jet from Gladiators, can I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Ryan. So Gladiators, I'm a child of divorce, so like TV was a big part of me growing up, right? I was member 00007 of the Gladiators fan club. So when Gladiators had a mail-in fan club where you would get like signed stuff and stickers in the post, I had the card. I was big into Gladiators. So like stuff like, so for me, like Jet, like my dad fancied her, like it was like the part of Glad, like for me, again, like 90s TV, what is it about this era of TV? Like it's just magical. You've got these like Adonises that are like I wanted to be her so bad. I wanted to be Lightning. I had the outfit. I put like I had my own idea. Like it was this incredible, like legendary folklore of these incredible creatures that had different names and they could do amazing things. And no one liked Wolf, and Saracen got disqualified, and it's just again this world of just something completely different. I loved it. So like,
did you like the remake of Gladiators when they brought it back? Sky One brought it back about 2008,
did not
9.
watch it. Did not
No,
watch
and
it.
garbage.
they had
Or American Gladiators. Who are they?
They touched on the nostalgia because they had Wolf back as the coach of the Gladiators, and I thought that
That's lovely.
Yeah, that worked quite well.
That's what you want. You want, yeah, but you want Eureka, you want John Fashanu, you want John Anderson, you want the 3, 2, 1. Like,
Yes.
You go on my first whistle.
Yeah, you were on my second whistle. No, like this is like.
My brother's mates with Hunter.
No way.
Yeah, because my brother's like does all this strongman stuff, and Hunter's part of that. So yeah. Random.
Cool.
Wasn't Hunter dating Ulrika?
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was Jordan. Was it both?
Oh,
Probably all of it. Jordan as well, I think.
Yeah.
I read an article the other day about Jordan used to turn up at like the Gladiators after parties. It was just a big, alcohol fueled. I need to tread carefully with my words here. I was going to say big alcohol fueled.
Allegedly. Yeah, but no, you're right. 90s TV was gold. It was absolutely. It was that sort of golden era of Saturday night entertainment, and I think that's why there's you don't really get a lot of it now. My
Strictly Come Dancing and X Factor. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, my guilty pleasure is Strictly. I don't mind a bit of Strictly, and that's come from, before me and my wife were like married and living together, I'd have to get on the bus to go and see her at the weekend, and you go there at the weekend, and she's still living with her mum and dad, and her, my mother-in-law loves Strictly. Yeah, so she loves Strictly, so she'd watch it, and my son is quite young when all that was kicking off, and he'd like dance with her in the living room, and you sort of end up Saturday nights for me would end up being sometimes watching Strictly if we weren't going out on the Raz. So I've kind of like just Strictly is now my run up to Christmas, and I get like a real little cheap kick out of it.
It's cozy because it's sparkly and warm, and it's cold outside, and there's nothing's ever wrong. No one, like the ceiling never caves in. Like it's never like they never end up in a fist fight. Like it's just a lovely safe space. I think that's
I think where they're already like celebrities, they're not like scrambling to win something. It's like they're actually just taking part, aren't they, and do the best they can do.
Do you remember the sting that You Bet would put on when someone lost? It'd be like da 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 da.
Yeah.
Oh, You Bet.
It'd be like families that had lost everything and weren't going to win the thing because they hadn't done it in time, and like you genuinely felt bad, like really, really, really bad about it. Like I don't think we've got that like high stakes. Like I guess it's the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I guess it might be on During the Day now. You get that kind of.
Was it Richard Kelly?
There was a.
Did he present that?
Yeah, there was a guy. There was a challenge on You Bet. I must have seen it on Challenge TV not so long ago because I remember it quite vividly. And he had to name Mega Drive games from just hearing like a second of the sound, and he got all of them. Like 8, 10 different sounds. And I was like,
I remember a bloke who had to rip up loads of phone books. I remember that one.
Rip up phone.
He did. He had to rip up loads of phone books. I'm sure there was a driving one.
it was good.
Yeah.
They should bring
I
that
love
back.
it. Is it Ruth
identify flowers from the stems?
Matthew Kelly.
Yeah. There's some crackers, and like Challenge Annika used to be another classic.
Challenge Annika Rice. That's someone we could get on GamesMaster for a second. If you're gonna have, if you're gonna do challenges, get Annika Rice on that show right now. Like, 100%.
Yep, I'm totally in for that. Yeah, there's see, I told you we go off on tangents. We move on from games and it's straight into 90s TV shows.
I tell you what I really enjoyed. Do you ever watch any of the Game Lab that Game Theorists did a short series on? So was a Game Theorist. Matt Pat does the Game Theory on YouTube, and he had a short show called Game Lab, and they just tried to recreate things in games in real life to see how well they would work. And they had ones where they're like trying to do free running from Mirror's Edge, and they had ones where they're trying to do like chocobo racing on emus and flying planes. And I think at one point they tried to recreate, what's that game where you play football with cars?
FIFA.
No, not FIFA.
Rocket League.
Rocket League, that's one.
Rocket League.
They tried to like recreate Rocket League, and they're actually playing football with this giant giant ball and cars and stuff. That was pretty cool. I think they had some really good ideas on that. So some of those sorts of things would look really cool.
Sorry, Tim. I thought you were going to say that they recreated 11 people on a football pitch on 2 sides.
Just like in a game, but in real life.
Yeah.
Mate, could you imagine that?
Hang on, you know you said you're a big Gladiators fan. What one thing did you want to do? Mine would be that hang tough when you got to swing all the way to go away and try and get past the Gladiator?
One that was really, really good. Atmospheres was really good. I even had the toys, like there was a whole toy section. I had like Atmospheres and the toys. Duel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Duel, isn't
like,
it?
I have 2 sisters, so like we'd get on like the top of the sofa and be like, right, let's have you. Like,
Is that with the big cotton buds?
Yeah.
I always remember they'd always zoom in on Shadow for that, wouldn't they? And as they like keep counting down, they zoom in, and you just see these eyes. Like,
have you seen him recently?
What Shadow?
He's just been sentenced to like 20 years in prison, isn't he?
Yeah,
so
drugs.
You might want to,
yeah.
What, for selling?
I don't know, but
did anyone watch a show on Sky One in the 90s called Knights and Warriors, which was basically like Gladiators? It was like a spin.
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, that was quite cool. But they were brutal. They were called Warriors. On that was really tough show.
Is it like Knights and Warriors?
Yeah,
Like yeah.
What was the one? You might know this wrong because it was on WCW. They had another Gladiators-esque program. I think it's called like Thunder something. I can't remember what it's called now. But they invaded WCW at one point. And had like WCW wrestlers having feuds with people from the Gladiator show.
I can kind of remember that.
I can't remember what it's called. I don't think it was a very long-lived segment, but they were obviously trying to do some cross-promotion of the show.
Obviously, I was only like 2 or 3 in the 90s, so I don't remember any of that.
I remember RoboCop. Remember RoboCop turned up in WCW once.
RoboCop.
He did.
Before we try and like steer it back onto gaming, the last 90s TV show that I remember loving as a kid, and it came on to Gold at one point, or whatever the TV show or challenge, and it played, and I was like, oh my god, I used to love this, and you watched it and you're like, wow, this is shit. It was The Interceptor. So if anyone else ever watched The Interceptor, it was sort of like someone would start at point A on a map, they'd have to get to point B. It'd normally be, I don't know, like a day's worth of travel, and you got like a backpack on with cash in it, and you've just got to get to the point.
Challenge Annika. That was like a part of Challenge Annika, wasn't it?
This was really early. In fact, it's probably one of my earliest like TV memories, I guess, of watching stuff with my parents. And there's this guy, The Interceptor, who rode this like Harley Davidson. He had like a leather jacket and this like awful device on his arm that looked like a power glove. And he'd like try
a control room where they could see things on maps. I watched it.
Yeah. And he'd have to try and shoot your backpack to like lock the back so you couldn't get the cash out. And I remember thinking, oh, this is amazing. You watched it now and you're like, wow, this isn't even like nostalgically good. This is just terrible TV. Terrible. Yeah. It is really bad. The guy, the actual Interceptor had like that 90s curtains hair, and it was, it's just not aged well.
Good times, mate. That haircut, good times.
One 90s show that none of us have mentioned, and I'm amazed none of us have mentioned it, is Nightmare. Nightmare is incredible.
That's good. I used to scare me.
I thought if I had a Nightmare, I always used to watch it thinking, like, how does anyone ever get past that room with the buzzsaws? Because the buzzsaws would fly at them so fast, I have to go left and right. And I don't know if this is true, but I heard that the show's producers, if they wanted to get rid of a team, because they're like, oh, they're not going to get any further, they're not very good, let's just move on to the next group. They said, just say, I'll put them in the buzzsaw room. They knew that they wouldn't be able to get through. And they're like, oh, yeah, no one survives the buzzsaw room. So they only went into that room if the people making the show wanted to get rid of that group and move on to the next one.
If you're a fan of stuff like this, I'm going to plug my friend, Mr. John Robertson, who does a live show called The Dark Room, which he is an amazing Twitch streamer, and he's created a character called The Guardian, and you basically, the audience plays like you're in a dark room and you've got to leave it, kind of like an 80s mud. And it's unbelievably fun, and it has that 90s feel to it as well. And he's brilliant. So he's on tonight. I think he's in Glasgow tonight, and then he'll be in Newcastle tomorrow night. He's doing a live show of it. And it's just, if you love this kind of 90s like challenge TV stuff, like if you go to the live show, I swear to God, it feels exactly like this. Like it feels like you created a world, like a video game world in real life.
Excellent.
Is this him?
That's another rabbit hole we're going to jump on.
Is that him?
Which one?
Hang on.
World of Warcraft.
Darkroom_TV. Is that the one?
No,
I
it's
hope you've
the
clicked
dark,
on the right one. Dorps.
Quick, before something happens!
the dark room. It's
The
Mr.
Dark
John,
Room.
Mr. John Robertson.
Okay.
It's absolutely brilliant. And yeah, he talks like this, and he wears like he looks like Atmosphere. Do you remember Atmosphere, like the VHS?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's got those
The
feels to it.
gatekeeper.
Yeah,
The last 2 years
like,
running, me and my friends have played a game as Atmosphere on New Year's Eve. We start playing at 11. So we've literally got until midnight to finish it. And last year, it was like 5 seconds towards midnight, and my wife was on the last bit. She had to pick a nightmare out, and it was her nightmare. And we literally stopped it with like 5 seconds to go. It's like, we've won the game. Happy New Year! So playing Nightmare on New Year's Eve, starting at 11. I highly recommend it. It's great fun.
Classic game. That was.
oh, good.
Might have to steal that.
I have got another Christmas cracker.
So just
Oh,
before
before
we
you
move on
do,
to the
Ryan,
last
just
couple
wanted,
of bits.
to highlight. Richard Waller's mentioned the right group. It was called the Battle Dome. Because I can remember in WCW they saying, "Oh, it's the Battle Dome boys," would show up on
Okay,
Nitro
cool.
and stuff.
Dome.
That's what it was. Never saw it. I just saw
Wow.
them turn up on Nitro. I think.
Right, go on then, Ryan.
Amazing.
Get it.
Yeah, go on.
I think
Here
we
we
all need
go.
a toilet break. Go on.
How do you cure hunger in Minecraft? 3 square meals a day. That's good. That's good stuff. I've got one more to finish it off. How does Sonic use to knock on a? No, sorry. What does Sonic use to knock on a door?
Ringers.
No, knuckles.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Rick. Off.
Yeah, boo! You suck. Get off.
So, bringing it right back to gaming and bringing it back to yourself, what is in store for Stevie next year? What have you got coming up? If there's some events or anything you'd like to plug or anything you're involved in that people need to be getting on?
I can look at dates for things. Let's have a look. Because I've got to only talk about stuff that's been announced. Let's have a look.
Oh, exclusive.
No, there is not a date for the. Oh, is there? No, but always good things to look at are things like the PC gaming show. That's always good fun. Obviously, I don't have any announcements about any future projects at the moment.
GamesMaster 2, yeah, Series 2.
Can't talk about anything. I'm trying to think if there's anything I can talk about. No, because even the game stuff I'm working on, I can't talk about it. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm so boring, but it's really exciting, and I wish I could tell you.
That's right. We're not live. We're not live. It's all right. I'm joking.
There's a lot that can be said by saying I'm not allowed to talk about it, which means there's stuff coming, which is always
there's lots of stuff coming, and it's all really, really good. I'm wanting to do more stuff with Special Effect, who are the charity I am an ambassador for next year as well.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully lots more stuff on that. I know that they've got Game Blast coming up, which I highly recommend you get involved with if you're interested in getting involved in Game Blast.
Okay.
Basically, it's a weekend that if you stream or you game, you do like a charity stream for Special Effect. They're an incredible charity that work with disabled people to help them play video games. So they'll go around to people's houses and create custom controller setups, or they've got software so that if you aren't able to move from sort of the head down, you can play games with just your eyes. So they've got software called iMine, which means you can play Minecraft with just your eyes.
Oh, that's so good.
They are absolutely amazing. If you are watching and you haven't checked them out, it's www.specialeffect.org.
I think Mean Machine Dean does a lot with them.
There's a couple of people have mentioned them before, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like the Oliver twins mentioned Special Effects as well. I think was it OEBP? I think mentioned Special Effects when he was on Everchat as well.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
You guys could do a talk-a-thon. Just talk, have to chat to each other for 24 hours with no dull points.
There'd be a lot of cracker jokes.
We barely make 24 seconds, let alone.
Yeah,
you can have your cracker-a-thon.
Cracker-a-thon.
Yeah. So let me
24 hours of that.
Oh. You could take it in shifts, just swap it in and out, play some games.
Do you want to do the early, the middle, and the late shift, Tim, for us? And we'll.
I'll give you a lunch break.
So
do the graveyard shift.
the dates for Game Blast are 25th to the 27th of February 2022. If you are on Twitter, it's at Game Blast. Do check them out. They've got like a full media pack about what you need to do to get involved, or if you want to raise money or anything like that. I worked for them for like 6 months, like in-house, like at the charity. And they are just the most amazingly wonderful people. The work they do is so important for quality of life and inclusion. They make games more accessible because everyone deserves to be able to play video games. They do the most amazing stuff with kids, with people that are in hospital. They are just absolutely brilliant. So that's Dr. McDonaghan, who's the CEO of Special Effect. He's been working in games. He founded the charity in 2007 because he was working in schools, and they wanted something for so that everybody could get a chance to use the computers and stuff like that. And he's built it from the ground up from there. But if you go to the Special Effects website, well, that's K-Pow, who was on the GamesMaster.
Oh yeah.
I work with all the same people.
Trust your bites. Yeah, I reckon.
There's a lot of people that do bits and pieces, but yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit or a lot. Like every little bit helps to get petrol in the tank, so they can go and visit people and fit a controller or get a game out to somebody, or be able to take a call from somebody in America who wants to be able to play Fallout and can't. It's just the most amazing people in the world. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'll tell you what, we'll chip in. We'll all chip in some money and do a donation.
Yay!
So, we should do that after. Yeah,
I was just saying,
something amazing. That's so good.
That can be my appearance fee for the podcast.
Deal. Absolutely. Yeah.
The check was in the mail, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Dorbs is sorting it. It's all Dorbs. He sorts all of that stuff.
It was until you started criticising my jokes.
It's gone up. We paid you more for that.
a very good cause. I think playing games has been a big part of all of our childhoods. I think everyone remembers playing games as a kid so fondly that any kids today that are going to struggle to play games then get an opportunity. So it's a great thing to
it's amazing
enable people to do,
definitely.
isn't it? Yeah, really, really good.
100%. Right. So before we come on to the final part, has Dorbs got something for the box?
Yeah, but because he's in the chat.
Okay. Yes.
Waller's remasters. I'm hoping he's still in the chat.
Are there any games that you think that need a remaster or a remake, or just need to be rebooted in general, that people probably maybe haven't played for a long time, or maybe forgotten about? Is there anything that you can think of that you think is deserving of a Waller's remaster?
I feel like they did do a re-release, but no, it didn't become the obsession that it was in the 90s, which is Myst. I wish I know that I think they did do either a remaster or a remake, but I don't know if esports is too big or people just don't have the attention spans to do it. But I just remember that like everyone's dad had been playing the same game of Myst for like 5 years and like was like so close to getting somewhere or had done something, and I just didn't have the patience for it, and like being able to have the kind of brain to actually work on something that's just unbelievably difficult. Like Myst, I feel like it could be really exciting if you've got people that are actually good at it. I'm not good at it, but there isn't you can, like, esports really do reward things like Twitch skills and knowing combos and different mechanisms and doing math in your head about damage points and hit points and stats and stuff like that. There isn't really, like, I might be wrong here, but I don't feel like there's like a championship for like long level problem solving in games like chess boxing, or it just doesn't exist. And it would be really cool. Myst, like MYST, Myst. So I feel like that would be cool to have like a version or something in, like, maybe you play it in real life, maybe it changes on the day, maybe it's something that constantly evolves, a bit like Defiance did. Like there's a lot of stuff Defiance got right about, like developing a game alongside a TV show that I thought was super fun. I just feel like that they kind of messed up the execution of it. I don't know. I feel like there's room for something dynamic that's difficult that everyone could work together to solve or play at the same time. And I feel like rather than just kind of giving a graphics update to something, I think it would be cool to work on mechanics that don't often get utilized but do them well.
Okay.
I like that.
Very cool. That is a very cool suggestion. I think we can chuck that in that would probably happen pile, as opposed to the, you know, the fan ramblings that we normally come out with, of games that would be made purely for one of us. So that is, that's a really cool suggestion. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Is it Riven, the sequel? Was it Riven?
Yeah, Riven.
Yeah, I mean, I had that on the PlayStation. Yeah, very good.
Excellent. Okie dokie, Mr. Dorbs. We have another terrible, terrible intro for What's in the Box.
Hey, I made this intro.
My
You made the other intro as well, mate.
That's not terrible.
It's charming.
It's all the abuse, mate. All the abuse.
Go on, Dorbs,
Right,
run it.
okay.
What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Oh,
There we
it's Tim.
go.
What's Tim doing? Has he got to the toilet? Has he had a sweet break? Unbelievable.
I went to go get a drink. Sorry, I thought you were back in time.
Right, so
Beautiful. So
obviously you've seen all of our videos, Stevie. So I don't really need to explain it, but I will.
Next thing, there's a box.
There's a box. So as you can see, very good box here.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It's very nice. So inside this box, let me just check. Yep, still there. There is a retro gaming item. So it could be a console, a PC, a game, peripheral, magazine, instruction booklet, whatever it can be. But there's something in here. So the panel, they've not done too well. I've given them the last few. I've given them really simple, you know, clues that gave it away basically. So they've got 20 questions. It's yes or no. So what we do actually.
Okay, first question.
He's got to do the layout before.
Yeah, no, I've got to make. I've got to put Ollie up there.
I've got to be the
to
duck.
turn Ollie into a duck.
Before we there we go.
Sorted. Okay. Right, go.
Now it's tradition. Okay. Oh, did you say you had a question before we kicked it all off? Because Dorbs might count this as a question.
So we get to ask questions?
Yes, Dorbs, but Dorbs can only give yes and no answers.
Ah, okay. I was going to ask what's in the box. Okay.
He's
actually, I'll answer that. I'll answer that in full. It's a retro gaming item. So that's one down. Lovely.
See, this is why we don't end up getting very far.
I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
Right. Because it's never been anything else but this, but it's always a good question to start with. So, is it a game?
Yes. Correct.
Is it a game that was played on this series of GamesMaster?
I'll have to. This series.
Yeah. You're not like any game that's ever been on GamesMaster, but
I was going to say I'll have to Google it quick.
No.
It's not been on the series GamesMaster.
Oh, okay. Is it a CD/DVD based game?
Yes.
On to you, Stevie.
We've got a guess in the chat if you want to have a guess already. I don't know if you want to use that one.
We've established it's a CD, so it's not a magazine.
Was it released before 2000?
Very good question. No.
Oh, so it's a recent...
last couple have been PS2 games. So is it a PS2 game?
Yes.
Because they're cheap in CX. That's what it's.
They are. They're very cheap. 50p.
It could literally be anything. Okay. Is it a sports game?
PS2.
Was that yes?
No, it's not.
Not
Bear in mind,
is it GoldenEye?
No.
No.
Bear in mind, he said that Paperboy was a sports game. I think.
No,
Oh.
You say it's not a sports game.
Wait, didn't say it was a sports game or wasn't a sports game. It's not
It's
a
not
sports game.
It's
no.
not
I
a
said he
sports
shoots stuff.
PS2.
Go on, Tim.
Is it a fighting game?
No.
Is it based on a TV show stroke film?
Yes. Very good one. Very good question.
That 18 one there, isn't it?
It's based on a film, so the film came first.
Is that a question?
That's a good question.
That is a good question, to be fair.
I think it. Yeah.
Because it could be Silent Hill, but the movies came after the video game.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be kind and give us Silent Hill.
Quickly
It's some
Google it.
really obscure title.
We've had
Yeah, I think-
Sven-Goran Eriksson Football Manager, one of the games.
And like Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 came before the film. So
No, the film was out. That's a good. I'll tell you what. There's not much in it. I'm just on Google.
should make it a companion piece to a film, like something promotional that came out with the film.
Let me. It looks like the actual video game came out. Depends on what region you are. It came out before the actual film. Or TV
It probably
show.
came out as a promotional thing that came alongside it then.
Now
Not one of the it's not one of the James Bond games, is it? 007.
No.
Is it made for children?
Shout.
I would
Bearing
say,
in mind that one of the other ones we've had is Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah.
I would say yes, it is.
Okay.
That's a cute. No Minions on there, was there?
Is it part of a series of games? So, i.e., for example, if it's for I don't know. I'm trying to think of it. Like Rocky's got 5 films, isn't it? So, is this? It's not. I'm not going to say Rocky, but is this part of a sequel of games? This game. So it's like the second or third.
No.
Okay.
Is it based off of a Pixar movie?
Yes, it is, Tim. Well done. Very good. I think you're going to get this. I think you're going to get it.
Okay.
So
The PlayStation 2.
Pixar movie for PlayStation 2.
Hang on. Are you on Google?
Movie.
Are you on Google?
And
No.
Definitely not.
No, these lot cheat. These bloody cheat.
What's the cheating?
Shit.
They're always on Google. It's bloody disgraceful.
Googles. I'll try
Oh,
and...
I've got my notepad
Post
open,
2000, so that would be Toy Story.
Sorry, what was that?
Toy Story.
No.
Is
Pixar, not Disney.
it? There's a 3. There's definitely 3 Pixar games I know on PS2. Is it? How many guesses we got?
I think I know what it is.
5.
Got 5.
Yeah, because you've been on bloody Google, you bloody cheats.
No.
Is it Finding Nemo?
That was going to be my guess.
Oliver, do you know what, Oliver? I don't know how you've done it. No, it's not.
Oh,
was gonna be my
guess.
Ah.
Okay, it's not Finding Nemo. It's not
Okay,
Toy Story.
there is-
one of the
there
Pixar
is-
films.
There is
Google
another one. There is
Pixar
another
films,
one.
quick.
There is another one. I know.
Let me Google
Is it
Pixar films.
Incredibles.
Ratatouille? I know there was a PS2 game of Ratatouille as well. Fuck. What are we down to?
Come
Is it
on,
one-
you said you knew it.
Hang on, you've
Is
got a
it
couple
one
of guesses. Hang on.
The Incredibles.
Hang on.
Shout.
Did that have a PS2 game?
Most
It did.
likely.
Yeah.
According to Google.
Oh, see, admit it. I knew it.
I knew it. There's one other that I know had a PS2 game because it came out on the DS at a similar sort of time as well. I don't want to waste a guess though.
I suggest you look at the chat because there's a good few
Monsters
guesses
Inc.
in there.
Well, you didn't say whether it was what I said.
He
What
said
did you
it.
say it was?
Incredible.
Incredibles.
Cars is a good shout.
No, it's not
Cars.
Incredibles.
No, yeah, I was
How
going to
many
say Cars.
guesses have we got?
You got 2.
Right, we've got to give one a guess to Stevie, I think, as the guest.
Yeah.
I
We've
can't
been
remember
throwing
what's been
guesses.
started out now.
Like Ratatouille's been
Yeah,
out.
we've had-
Incredibles
We
has
didn't,
been
and
out.
we didn't get dates. If we'd asked more questions about dates, we'd have known which game it was because of when
It's
Pixar
true.
movies came out. If the game came out before the movie came out, which is what he said, we're talking about potentially a sequel, which
Story
would be so. Like, if, for example, The Incredibles 2 came out, the game would come out before that. He said it wasn't part of a series. Therefore, you can rule out Incredibles because there's been 3 movies. Toy Story,
Okay.
there's been 4.
It's either.
I like your logic. I like the way you're
Cars
thinking
has
this.
been 3, right? Cars has been 3, so it's
So
not
I was
going to
going
be
to
Cars.
say
It's got to be
Monsters
up
Inc, but
there.
there's been
Nemo,
2 Monsters
Nemo
Inc.
2.
Okay,
Up,
there's
1.
up. There's been 1.
That Fishtail isn't Pixar.
No.
There's Wally. Wally
look at
only
him,
had
look-
1 game.
Look at him looking
Wally.
on Google.
Wally
Look
had
at it.
one
I can
game.
see the reflection in your glasses.
Wally
Google.
was my other
That was
suggestion.
funny, God.
I can
Yeah,
see
Wally was gonna
reflection
be
of
my
Google
other
in your
suggestion.
glasses. That is disgraceful. Unbelievable.
I think it's either going to be Up or Wally.
I don't think it's an Up game. Is there on the PlayStation 2?
There is an Up game on the
Is
PS2.
there?
Is there?
100%.
There's an up game on PS2.
100%.
2 left.
Good, we'll let Stevie guess because she's.
No, don't let me guess.
No, go on, because you've got logic to it. We're just
I don't-
throwing.
Oh, yeah.
We're just-
Yeah, these
Sorry,
idiots
that
just,
one,
these
just the
idiots.
question.
And also, if you get it and you win, Dorbs doesn't count that for us as a win because the guest won.
Well, I'm not counting it anyway because you're using Google.
I'm not using
not.
Google.
Yeah, if there's
I'm not
Google
using
going
Google.
on, then my logic and reasoning are.
But surely we can use Google a bit because
Of course you can't.
that doesn't
No.
show us what's in the box, does it? It just helps us look up if something's on a platform
No.
No, it's cheating.
or year.
You wouldn't use it in a
It's
game,
fact
would you?
checking.
Tim, you can see it in your
Fact-checking.
glasses, mate.
Yeah.
Go for it. Someone yell one of the last 2 that we got.
We've got
Yeah.
2 left, right? We're on 18 questions, I think.
Yeah.
Is that,
Is that right, Dorbs?
No, it's not a
You
question.
can't ask.
Oh,
you
we
can't count
just
how
go.
many ones we've got
We
in the
go with
question.
up. We go
Up,
with
yeah.
up.
Okay, go up.
Oh,
Okay, then it's got to be Wally.
Monsters Inc. has more than one
It does, yeah.
film.
Is that according to Google?
No,
Yeah,
I've seen Monsters
yeah, according to
University.
seeing Monsters University.
Monsters University, yeah.
I'm not a pleb, I've seen it.
Has somebody said Wally in the chat? Although to be fair, the
No,
chat's
haven't
like
already
him
said
saying.
Wally. We already said
Have
Wally.
we already tried Wally?
No, we haven't actually tried
Hang
this
on,
question.
we have an independent adjudicator here. Google is definitely cheating. Thank you, Blair.
Oh,
Just
Mm.
remember,
Thank you,
Blair.
Blair.
Just remember who's looking after your training.
No,
Let's
Blair, just forget that.
Let's
That's-
just
that's
remember
blackmail.
that, buddy. Yeah.
That's blackmail.
I think that's up for debate though. That's only one opinion. I think that
We've
got one left.
more.
So we get the fine. Go on, Stevie. Go for our last
Mm-mm.
guess.
We've named every Pixar movie I can think of. So
I don't think we've actually given Wally.
Cars,
Did we say
Ratatouille.
car?
Yeah, we have
Nemo,
said
we've
Cars.
Cars. We've
Oh, is there
done.
more
We
than
said
one
Toy
car?
Story. We've like
Is there
I
more
don't.
than one car film? Oh.
There is more
Yes,
than one
there
card.
is.
Yeah,
Three,
there's tons of
dude.
cars.
3.
Oh,
We
Is
did
it
Cars
Cars?
earlier.
That's
That
a
was
bit
one of our
awkward.
answers.
Cars.
Sorry?
Cars.
Was it?
Cars?
Is it Cars?
Is it
No, it's not
Cars?
Cars. Unfortunately,
Ah.
sorry. That's your
we
20.
gave Cars earlier, didn't we? We already said Cars.
No, because we ruled it out because we said that
Oh.
because there's been
Oh,
more than
yeah.
one Cars movie.
Well,
It's gotta be
unfortunately,
Wally.
do you know what? I almost feel guilty. You were that close.
If it's Wally, I'm gonna throw my
actually
headset
Wally.
and walk off.
Ah,
Wally.
I said it was Wally.
Wally.
We said it.
Well, I'm
Yes,
taking it.
Wally.
I'm
No, you
taking
did
it.
say it. You
we
were talking
did.
about it, but you
Stevie
didn't say
said
it.
I
Wally.
suggested it as an answer.
You didn't ask me
Well,
without asking the question, but yeah, there is.
said it was
The
Oh,
rules. We're gonna go back
Wally.
and VAR that shit. I think.
You can go
In
back
all
and find
fairness,
it.
I do
It's
think
recorded.
we discussed Wally, but we didn't actually submit it as an answer. But I did say we should
But
say
no,
Wally.
Which side do you want, Tim?
I'm just saying. I
No.
said I suggested Wally.
Good logic. I like your
Well, my
logic
suggestion.
with googling. I like that. So well done. But
If we need to
even
establish
cheating
no
can't win.
Googling, we
See,
can
cheaters-
put that to a vote.
Cheaters never prosper.
I don't think Googling is cheating. I think it's research.
It is.
It's not going to give us the answer, though, is it?
Yeah.
I got to Wally and the other one using the logic and the reasoning. So
Yeah,
I
oh,
got
we have
there.
a-
If you watch
Okay.
it back, I used the reasoning to get down to the 2 Pixar ones that didn't have
Yeah, you
sequels.
did. I like that. It's good reason. We have another independent adjudicator. Here we go.
Oh,
It was
Also
discussed
has
but
it.
not submitted.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And
Shocking behaviour.
you do, because he said it.
Well, today is opposites day and we won. So
Let me just let my cat out. Hang on. No, don't run off. Oh. Sorry.
Honestly, shocking behaviour. Right.
Oh, good stuff. Well done.
Let's let's wrap this up because I think we've definitely played a whole bunch of your evening, which we're very, very grateful for. So yes, so where can people find you online? If you want people to find you online, that is.
No, go away. I'm on Twitter at Stevie_SG. Stevie_SG. That's where I am. I'm too old for Instagram, too old for that TikTok, too old for Snapchat things. And yeah, so I'm on Twitter.
You keep saying you're too old, so I'm totally at a loss as to what age you sit in. So I'm gonna have to.
I can tell you.
We're gonna have to try and see if we can guess this after this is done. Very.
Don't need to guess, mate. I can tell you.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
The TV shows I've been talking about. How old?
You've got to be around the same age as me. She had a BBC Micro and an Archimedes. So
yeah, you can tell
exactly,
it by
exactly what I had. So I'm going to.
I think we'll probably all be a very similar age. I would have thought.
So. Yeah, I think so because we've talked about Nightmare for more than 20 minutes. So I think we can.
Beautiful. Well, on behalf of the panel, thank you ever so much for joining us this evening. It's always great when people within the industry actually want to come and talk, like I said, to schmucks like us. So thank you so much for coming and joining us on our little slice of paradise on the internet. We've really, really appreciated it. And congratulations on GamesMaster. Congratulations on everything you do. And hopefully we'll be able to get that second season or proper full series of GamesMaster commissioned with all of the love that we keep pouring at it. And we'll see what happens there. So thank you everyone for joining in the chat. Thank you everyone for watching and anyone that watches after the event as well. And we will see you all.
Have we got a little trailer to play?
Yeah.
For the next
he does. He does.
Next
week. Is this next week's?
Just quickly.
No.
Is this next week's?
Go on, Dorbs. Press the button.
Well, next week you got John, I think it is, from OLL, who we're going to go to in January next year. 15th.
Yes, Retro Gaming Convention.
So yes, he's joining us next week for a chat all about that, which is going to be really, really good. Looking forward to that. And we've got a little trailer for this.
I like the way the music just goes.
It's cut off.
Beautiful. Right.
That was nice. I like that.
Yeah, that was good.
Very good.
It's so good. Thank you again, Stevie. It's been greatly appreciated if you've given up your time to talk to us. And thank you very much. That's excellent. Always like when people enjoy themselves. And yes, thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you next week.
Good night.